came back to TikTok to defend myself against wild accusations, but I also came back because I want to apologize for things that I genuinely got wrong. For example,
I'm planning to go to Israel in June with my parents, and I'm actually really excited to go there. I want to show you guys how beautiful, how multicultural, how like free it feels for people, or just it's a beautiful place. It is. It's one of the most diverse places I've ever been.
looking back, I definitely feel ashamed for the way I spoke about Israel with such levity at the time that a genocide was happening. I completely understand why people could watch this clip and judge me harshly for it. I want to apologize to anyone in the Palestinian diaspora or anybody that's been affected by this war that felt that I was trivializing the suffering, the horror that you've gone through. And for that, I deeply am sorry, and I'm ashamed of this clip.
It sounds like this is like written by like corporate, like, you know what I'm saying? Like corporate is like putting out a message to like apologize for something that accidentally was broadcast, or like I'm just like why do you got to say the Palestinian diaspora? Like, why can't you just be like, hey, if you're Palestinian, if you've been affected by this crisis, I want to say sorry to you. Like, you can just communicate like a human being to people. Like, why you have to talk like a fucking, It does kind of remind me of that John Cena video. I may have referred accidentally to Taiwan as a sovereign nation. It was me misspeaking, of course. Much admiration to all of our fans in Taiwan, but specifically admiration to Xi Jinping and the good people of China, who do own and not occupy, but rightfully control. Not control, but it's a part of China, and that's why I support them. You know what I mean? Like, every once in a while, some big celebrity like an NBA star will have to come out and make an apology because the NBA is huge in China and Adam Silver's a huge bitch. And wasn't Cena's apology actually in Chinese? He was like Dao Yong Zhao or whatever. It was crazy. Right. I was like, did you learn Chinese just to do this? Like, what the fuck? Teleprompting that shit for sure. It was pretty good though. I was like, damn, bro, you know your way around this language. Like, I couldn't speak Chinese like that. Either way, again, like, I guess I'm glad Ethan put out that video. He should apologize for that, but it also just felt so scripted. Again, it felt like something that, came down from like HR to try to do damage control or something. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. So again, I'm definitely glad he apologized. That is one of the cringiest clips of Ethan where he's like, hyping up Israel while they're literally committing a genocide against their neighboring country, which they also currently occupy. So it's crazy that he said that at all. It's one that I've referenced on the show. And I'm pretty sure that's why he apologized for it, because he doesn't want people to continue to be able to criticize him for it. He wants to be able to say, what, you're criticizing me over that thing that I apologized for? That's not fair. I said sorry. So again, fair enough. If you apologize for something, yeah, it does make it harder for people to endlessly like hold it over your head and shit. But you still said that shit. And honestly, even worse than anything Ethan has said about the conflict, it's the creators that he's targeted, all of which are the most pro-Palestinian people on Twitch and on YouTube. Like, it's those people almost exclusively. He threw in Destiny the other week so he could have, credible deniability and be like, see, it's not just pro-Palestine creators that I have beef with. But up until then, it literally was like all 12 of the most prominent, or whatever the number, all 10 or 12 or whatever, most prominent anti-Israel, pro-Palestine creators. You guys know the bunch: Hasan, Denims, fucking Frogan, yada, 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 Mike from PA, etc. So, that's what the real scandal is, in my opinion, more than any specific comment that Ethan made. But yeah, that was one of the cringiest comments that he made about Israel. Yeah, and I think that another piece of this puzzle, and I think it's something you might have said to me right after you DM'd me about this, was that like he's clearly trying to do damage control with his Zoomer audience. And I think it is very important to analyze the fact that he put this up on TikTok alone. Yep. Much of the H3 TikTok base it has to be Gen Z. And I'm actually thinking the vast majority of people who still watch H3 might be young people, might be people who are fucking, 18 to 22, 17 to 23, 25, right? These kinds of people who think that Ethan's shtick is funny, people who want to watch them react to Love Island, and people who, are really invested in, him playing like Dungeons and Dragons with other high profile creators. The people who are going to be interested in what Ethan has to say after they have completely tuned out from him politically, I imagine it is going to be a largely Zoomer base, but that Zoomer base is still going to be pro-Palestine. So he wants to be able to lie to them
and say, no, everything you've heard about me is a smear. I am pro-Palestine.
Yeah, 100%. That's, I think, a big part of what it is too. Trying to appeal to Gen Z, trying to appeal to that TikTok crowd, break in to that algorithm. Yeah, so I guess that is why. I mean, also there is a chance that Ethan Klein genuinely did feel bad about saying that, and he genuinely does feel like it was insensitive. I mean, it's possible, but I tend to think it's not that simple.
Yeah, and here is Hasan giving his take on the situation.
Ethan Klein apology tour. What does that mean? Are you guys talking about the one TikTok that he posted being like, hey, that one time I actually said I love Israel and I'm going to go there and it's multifaceted. That was actually my mistake. I'm so sorry about that. But that's it. Nothing else. Okay. Nothing before and nothing after. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times that even someone who is as viciously a defender of Israel and an attacker of Israel's biggest critics is recognizing that he feels the need to do some propaganda to kind of take back some of the things that he's done.
Dude, is Hasan just pounding like a 40 ounce? What is that thing? Is that malt liquor? I'm kidding. I think it's
Looks like it might be that. What's that cough syrup stuff? Lean.
Whoa.
Doesn't it kind of look like cough syrup?
It does kind of look like that shit Lean comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, though.
Everybody's reaction.
Hasan, look at these rats jumping ship. Yeah. All right. Banger episode of the Fear and Podcast. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Fear and Podcast came out.
Yeah. So that was, Hasan's response. But don't worry, Ethan's never gonna let Hasan get the last word. Everybody, all right. Shout out to Rusty Shackleford.
Oh God, this one's so good.
we were talking about this. Shout out to Gato Fumador. Shout out to Rusty Shackleford. Shout out to all of these Twitter accounts that just make the Vanguard's life so much easier by compiling these clips. Because if we had to watch all of this shit, we would lose our mind. All right, Gavin's the only one that actually sits through an entire H3 episode looking for nuggets.
What? This narrative that I can't let it go with Hasan. I've honestly barely talked about him ever since the Charlie Kirk thing happened.
You can talk about him as much as you want.
No, I know, but I'm just saying I've kind of made the conscious decision to lay off a little bit because things got so fucking heated.
Yeah. It's just like
if you go to his,
talk about everything.
If you go to his TikTok reshares.
And by the way, sorry to pause it real quick, but that's such bullshit. He says, I've tried to lay off Hasan ever since like the Charlie Kirk shooting happened. Literally the day of the Charlie Kirk shooting, he was blaming Mike from PA and Hasan on his Instagram story and talking about how scared he was for his own life as a result of the, political violence, trying to act like he was next. I think I actually have one of the ones right here. If you want me to pull it up, Zach.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if you got it.
Yeah. This is it right here. I'm absolutely horrified by what happened to Charlie Kirk. The video is devastating. And he says, I'm scared for myself and my family. There's been a constant stream of death threats targeting me and others coming directly from twitch.tv. This is the inevitable result of Twitch's continued endorsement of radical violent voices, aka Hasan. But then he goes out and he says, but this is the type of political violence that very specific people have been encouraging. Mike from PA has been broadcasting consistent threats of violence for years with zero accountability from Twitch. Twitch ensures that this will continue to happen. I'm so sorry to Charlie's family and wife and his 1-year-old son. Gavin, if you're ready, I do have somebody on the online left whose violent, toxic rhetoric towards Charlie Kirk might have inspired. So I hope not, but you can never be sure when you put out something so evil and violent and toxic onto the internet. As Ethan clearly states right here, it could have reverberating impacts nobody could have foreseen.
Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick because I did not know that this clip was out there.
Oh yeah, and I have a feeling this might be why he's doing a little bit of it.
This is kind of like after he called Taylor Lorenz a pedophile, his pedo troll Reddit account got found out. This is kind of like the same thing happening, but with like, can you believe how insensitive these lefties are when they talk about violence?
Do not play into the violent aims and ambitions of the other side.
They're violent.
Let me say this.
It's terrifying. I mean, these people are dangerous and psychotic, and I think it's time to kill them.
No, Jesus.
Hasan backs away from that like a hot potato. Everybody's been there. somebody you're on a broadcast with says something a little bit crazy, and you're like, buddy, I'm not signing off on that one, but you do you. You do you. Whoa, that's nuts, bro. Whoa, crazy, bro. Well, hey, yeah, you double down on that if you want.
Yeah, Hasan was like, "Oh, okay, I guess you're gonna go there."
I'm from Turkey. I can't get away from that.
Just trying to, a little blunt. I'm sorry, just a little blunt. We've got the guns. When do we use them? That's why we have them,
Give me a
right,
little
Charlie?
bit.
So there was a big protest outside the NRA meeting, which was good. Do we have any insight into what they're actually talking about?
Fine.
Dude,
Just a throwback to what he looked like before Ozempic did a number on him.
Ethan looked just like Artie Lang. I swear to God, it was like Artie Lang without the pill problem.
There at the NRA meeting that's today in Texas. Someone should bomb that building.
I was just gonna say, if there's another Holocaust and people start rounding up the Jews, I just say if they start rounding up the Jews again, I hope Ben gets first.
Do not.
And by the way, those are the kind of old school edgy H3 jokes that we've defended, and also why it's basically impossible for Ethan to get away with this new shtick of his, which is where he like tone polices everyone else and where he like finger wags at edgy humor, because that used to be like the fucking whole point of his show. That used to be the whole point of his show. Like he would say shit like that all the time. And it was kind of glorious. It was kind of awesome. That's why it was like a fun vibe. Instead of just like the Karen calling up the manager at Twitch, trying to get all of his like enemies fired or whatever, which is what it is now.
You know, all of the fat in Ethan, it kind of stored up all the jolly in him. And as it dissipated because of the Ozempic, all that was left was his evil, rotting core.
Yep.
Hundreds of the most insane Ethan psychotic conspiracy hate videos, nonstop. I would be fucking humiliated to have that be on my reshares, to be like, I would actually be afraid of looking like obsessed. But this man, he talks about me on a daily basis. He says I'm trying to get him killed. He's doing all this types of shit. He's on Twitter. He's sharing shit on TikTok. This whole narrative of me being some one-sided is crazy.
Meanwhile, he's the one bringing me up as a valid military target.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to harm Hasan or anybody in his life or anybody.
He brought me up in that conversation for no reason. I wasn't even related to the topic.
Oh, yeah, except you're fucking married to the guy that he's beefing with. So I'm sorry that makes you related to the topic because you were also a member of the military that's doing this genocide.
Yeah, and also because Ethan constantly has attacked Hasan for platforming terrorists, like that's like the fucking Yemeni Chalamet kid. Remember the like teenage kid from Yemen that Hasan chatted with? Ethan calls that kid a terrorist. So yeah, I think Hasan has the right to fire back and be like, your wife is literally a former IDF member who actually participated in real terrorism. Like, yeah, I think that's a valid point to make.
100%. And just for, the people who love numbers and graphs, Hasan has been mentioned in 111 out of 118 H3 podcast episodes. Ooh. Very frequently, over 100 times per episode. And you have this chart right here, which tracks it. You guys can investigate that on your own.
Would love to meet whoever compiled those graphs.
Yeah, somebody had a lot of time.
Oh god, it's like us with TYT.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
But then what? If I respond, then I'm obsessed? No, of course I'm going to talk about it.
Well, I haven't even been responding. That's the crazy part. I've just been kind of letting it all slide for now.
Eyes.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there.